Welcome back, new beginners. We are New Beginnings After 40. I am Jen.
I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Lori.
Today, we are going to have so much fun. We are going to talk about the faults of our men.
Right.
We all have faults.
We're going to talk about us, our faults.
We will.
Too.
We all have faults. And are they going to watch this episode?
I might end up divorced after this episode.
Well, mine tends to be working on his hobby behind me while I'm editing our videos, so I'm sure he's going to hear it. But I already gave him a list of what I was going to say anyway, so he won't be surprised.
So when I was getting ready to come over here, I said to my husband, we're going to do an episode on the faults of our men. And he went, oh, I bet you have one. I said, oh, baby. I said, you are going to have it. And I said, love you.
I can't wait to watch this episode with him. We're going to have a little watch party, get some mimosas.
I was really hoping that we could just, somehow block him from watching this.
He hasn't been watching him anyway, has he? Other than when we make him.
Well, I think he does, but I know he didn't watch this last one yet, but I told him to watch it tonight while I was gone. But, maybe I could just, somehow magically make him forget about this episode.
Well, if you go home and say, like you did earlier, it's going to entice him to go watch it by saying you're going to talk about him.
That's what I told Terry. You might actually finally watch one of our episodes if it's about you.
Oh my gosh. That is hilarious.
So first, let's go ahead and talk about our weeks. Lori, what have you been up to this week?
Well, I did actually go walk. Imagine that. Several times.
You
Good
did?
job.
Yeah.
On
So
your little hills?
Yeah. So I have little hills in my neighborhood. It's not flat. So it does make your calves scream a little bit. So I did manage to get some of that in. Other than that, it's race week again. Different race. It's now Monaco Grand Prix. So I am wearing my favorite driver, Max Verstappen's Dutch colors because he's Dutch. And Kimberly is supporting Max as well, wearing her Verstappen shirt. So she hasn't taken enough of a dive to have, quote, a favorite yet. So she's just going to support mine right now.
Yes.
But a fun fact, so Kimberly, is the Monaco Grand Prix has been around since 1929.
Yes.
So it's 95 years old. So
That's awesome.
it's not the most exciting race to watch because it's very hard to overtake. It's a street circuit, but it is a serene. You've got all the yachts out front.
Oh, no.
It goes through the streets
beautiful.
of Monaco. It's absolutely stunning. Mm-hmm. And it is even though it's not a very exciting and it's hard to win, the drivers really want to win it because it's such an iconic track that they will never take it off of there. So it is a little different this year because they've added a mandatory 2-stop race, meaning you have to change your tires 2 times even if you don't want to. Because really the race is won on Saturday when they do qualifying. Because if you're in the front, you're going to win.
Oh, absolutely. I was going to say whoever is in the back, I said they're not going to win because it is hard to overtake.
Which Max has won it several times, but this year in particular, his car's not the greatest. It's probably the 4th slowest car on the grid, so it's going to be a challenge.
Well, we'll know.
Thank you for your support.
You're
Max,
so welcome.
And other than that, I know I've had a lot of race weeks, but it's a triple header in Europe, so that's why.
Yeah.
So, but next week, I'm going to actually get my hair done. So another reason I'm wearing a hat is because I'm going to have to get my hair done next week. And so the gray is here. It's coming. I wouldn't even say it's coming. It's really here.
I was confused. Can we not just go buy some hair, color spray just to spray down the middle where our grays are? I mean,
well, you could, but see, I don't afraid I'm going to mess up stuff.
I know I would too. I would freak out.
I'd be afraid I have a patch color.
I'll get it. I'll try it, and I'll let you all know.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, gosh, because
I'm
okay, listen, let me just spray this little bit right here. Oh.
Yeah, so I guess I don't know what I'll do when it's not race time, but thankfully that won't be till December. I mean, there is a few breaks, of course, but at least I still have 18 more to go, so I'm liking that I can wear a hat.
the hats.
I could,
even if it's not
still
race
wear the
day.
hat because then I'll be in mourning because there's no race.
And you look super cute and also.
I love the orange.
So this is a new feature. So, I normally, as y'all have seen, wear my white hat, and that's mostly because I'm superstitious. So last year, I got to go to my first live race in Austin last year. And while I was there, I got a cute cowboy hat because you're in Austin, you gotta have a cute cowboy hat. So it was a cowboy hat, and then I also had my I had a jersey that last year that Max Verstappen actually put out for the Americas race, which starts with Austin, and so I wore that, and he actually won stuff. So I was like superstitious and wore it like the rest of the year, and so it's kind of like this year I wore that white hat. It was for the Japan Grand Prix, and he freaking won. So I've been wearing it ever since, but I'm changing it up.
I love it.
So we'll see
actually,
how
when
that
you
goes.
put it on.
It's super cute.
Yeah. And so another, actually, Jen's man is very superstitious when it comes to college football.
Same hat.
Yep.
If they lose it and he switches to a different hat, 100%. If they're not doing well halfway through, he'll go change his shirt because that shirt's the problem.
Oh, yeah. And then remember, he won't go out because he thinks that if he's at a bar or something watching the game, they're going to lose.
Yes.
Can I tell one funny story? I know Kimberly tells the funny stories, but memories, but this fits this protocol. So my dad, bless his heart, I'm a sports nerd because my dad. I did everything sports wise with him, but he was a giant Cowboys fan, and so when I was in high school, we had season tickets at that time at the old stadium, and so we had a really fun section. We were in the end zone, 5 yards from the field. So like anytime we were so loud in our section that like even if someone hit a 2-point conversion, it would be like.
Was it the one that's covered?
No, we were. This is the old stadium that was out in the open,
okay.
which was a football game and not like a spectacle that it is now. So anyway, so 1993, yes, because their Super Bowl was 93, 94, right? Yeah, so 93, I worked at Stripley and Cox department store. We don't even have those anymore.
We don't have those anymore.
What is that?
And so I was about 16,
What kind of
17.
store was that?
It's kind of like think of Dillard's, but
Montgomery
by
Ward,
itself.
Dillard's.
But by itself, it wasn't like at a mall. So anyway, I worked there, and they had a little cowboy troll. And we don't really have trolls out anymore either, but troll. And he had blue hair, cowboy jersey on. And so I bought it for him. And that year, they, of course, won the Super Bowl. So that troll went to every single game with us, and that troll would go to all the way up to the top of this section we were in and back down to my dad. My dad would rub it on everyone around. It's like, I would just say, I'm sorry. Personal space, Dad. And he would just rub it on people for good luck, right?
Yeah.
Well, they continued to have good luck throughout that time frame of their career. Not so much case now. And so that kind of went on down the road, and I think it was about like, I don't know, mid 2000s, maybe 2005 or so, let's call it. I was like, because the troll was worn out. So I was like, I'm gonna do something really cool for him. I think it was like Father's Day, and I went on eBay because you can't buy them anymore. I went on eBay, found him another troll. I got a shadow box to put the old troll in, decorated it and everything. I wouldn't say a coffin, but that's kind of what it was for. And so I took his old troll and I put it in there, and I gave him a brand spanking new one. Looked so good. And he was so excited about it. He put it on the old one on the shelf and got the new one out. The first time they did wrong, he busted that old troll out, and then he would rub both trolls for good luck.
I love them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so I think that's probably where my superstition might
It could be.
He was very into cowboys.
Oh gosh, yes,
Yeah.
and Rangers and stuff like that. But yeah, so I'm all about sports superstition. Anyway, I know we derailed that a little bit, but
No, that was a
good story.
It was a good story, and I love hearing about your dad's stories and stuff.
yeah, I have many.
Yeah.
and maybe I'll turn into a story hour like
There you go.
Kimberly has.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was a great guy.
Yeah. Okay, so what about your week?
Let's see. I actually this is gonna go from kind of like serious for a minute, but Jen, she's gonna talk to you about her going to dermatology. And I went with her. moral support. And so I actually, when I talked to y'all about my mom going into the hospital in Waco, I slept on the couch, and so I felt something on my back that was itching. So I went back there, and I've always had a mole that's on my left shoulder blade. It's flat, nothing big, nothing. It's just always flat. All of a sudden, it's filled with fluid and itching. And of course, you're not supposed to touch it, but I did. And because I can't help it, like right now it's itching. And so I was scratching, then some fluid came out, and then blood. Then I think it was the next day, we came on Thursday, and then I'm scratching again, and then because it had scabbed, and then the whole thing came off and was bleeding. I know that's gross, but I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? So we go, and I'm gonna let Jen tell you this story because it's her appointment, not mine. But I really did think that she had booked both of us at the same time, and when we had gotten right before we left to go there, I said, you did make the appointment for both of us, right? And she's like, no, it only let me put one person in. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm going to let her tell that story real quick because this is really funny.
So I get there a few minutes early, and I'm at the counter checking in. And she comes running in and slides in front of me and says, is there any way that I can get in and have an appointment too? And they're like, we really hope you two know each other.
Some random.
I stepped back and went in.
And I said, nope, I don't know her.
Never met her. Don't know who that is. So then she's like, no, we can't get you in. And she goes, okay, I'll just ask the doctor. And this other lady to the side is like, you can't do that. And Kim's like, yes, I'm going to do that. And she's like, no, you really can't do that. There is a sign on the cabinet that says you cannot ask for help if you're not the patient. She's like, I'm still going to do it. So when it was time for me to go back.
But this woman kept saying, no. I said, yes.
Yeah.
She'd say no, and I'd say, yes.
It was hilarious. When it was time for me to go back, I started going back, and she started coming with me. And that same lady was like, don't let her go back with her.
I'm going.
Like chasing you down.
She's trouble. So then we were sitting in the room talking, waiting for the dermatologist, and I start just cracking up because there really is a sign that says if you are not the patient because of liability, whatever reasons, we cannot answer any questions. She was like, well, I'm still going to ask. And she sure did.
Well, Jen goes through her, asking her stuff, which she'll talk about in a minute. And then at the end, she's like, you have any questions? I raised my hand.
You waited for your turn?
You did.
What I said, okay, I see the sign, and I know you're not supposed to, so I'm not going to actually show you. I'm just going to ask. If someone has a mole that's turned into fluid, and then she said, just show me. So she got her little magnifying glass out thing, and then she put it on me. Okay, so you know me, I'm just always going to still be lighthearted about it. She said, yeah, this one's iffy, that it could be skin cancer. So I'm just like, okay, and I said, okay, well, I'll make an appointment to actually come in, because she couldn't really say, like on Jen, she could say like, yeah, that's something, or no, that's nothing. And then on me, she said, it's iffy.
Because of the scab, she couldn't really see it. So she wanted it to heal and you to come back so we can look at it.
But because it had grown and changed forms and stuff, and I'm like, there's no way I have cancer again.
Well, I mean, not that it's a positive form to have cancer, but they can really usually get rid of that and laser it off.
Yeah.
So
She said if you catch it quickly enough,
Yes,
if you don't let it
yeah.
go. So yeah,
it
was
could
good
also
that
have just been that you created an infection, but that's why she can't really say till she checks it out.
I don't know. So we're going next week.
Okay.
So we'll find out that information. And then if they tell me it's cancer, you know I'm going to go out and drink and cry, and then I'll be fine. Guess what I said on the last one.
Yeah.
Okay. So today was a very interesting day.
No, last week, you mean? We're talking
No.
about our week we're talking about our week that we just
Today.
had.
It was
Today?
It was today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so, anyways, my mom wanted to get her hair done. And so I said, okay, Mom, you want to go back to my hairdresser? And she's like, you know what? When I lived in Arlington, I would always go to Darrett's hair salon. I said, well, okay. Do you want me to make you an appointment for there? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So we made her an appointment. All right. So first of all, I think, my hair always takes 2 hours. My daughter's hair takes 2 hours. And
Mine
we
does
get
too.
highlights
Mine
and
too.
cut. So I said, it's in Arlington. I don't want to drive all the way home and drive all the way back. And I had a call at 2:00. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll just do this call 30 minutes. And then I will then go get something to eat and chill and then come back. So I did that. And then I come back and I am in the parking lot. And I had told her, text me when you're done or call me. Or almost done. And I'm sitting there. It's 5:00. I got there 1:45.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. First of all, I knew I had the podcast to do. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, what is taking so long? So I called my sister. My sister's like, yeah, it's 3 hours. I'm like, what? Mine takes 2. And so I'm like, okay, so now we're going on like 4.5 hours. And I'm like, so now I'm mad because I was late to doing my podcast and I, needed to get some stuff done. So I go in and I'm mad, but I go around. So I'm looking for her. Where are you at? And then I go, or finally I see her kind of in the mirror, and I go around the corner, and I'm like, when you're mad and you're about to go,
Yeah.
and then so my mom is sitting there crying.
That breaks my heart.
Oh my God. And then I look at her and I'm like, oh my God, Mom, what? And she's just crying. And now, of course, my heart's broken.
Right.
And I'm like, Mom, what happened? So her hair color is exactly like mine.
I think hers is more blonde than yours, actually. It's almost like a lighter.
Earlier it was, but she's gotten to be more like me over the years. But she actually showed a picture from my wedding in 2019 and said, hey, I want blonde highlights. I want this.
Okay.
And so she showed that picture. And so when I walked around that corner, her hair was wet still, and it was copper. I'm like, wait, Mom, what's going on here? And then she's like, they did this to my hair. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, I don't understand how you come in and ask for blonde highlights. How did they get it red copper? So, of course, I am that Karen because, seeing your mom cry, who's almost 80, and I'm like...
And she's had a hard past few weeks, too, on top of that.
Wait, what?
And she's going to see her family.
Yeah, and she said, no, I will not go looking like this. We're going to cancel the trip. And I'm like, Mom, just calm down. Let's talk. And so I'm talking to her. And so what was really great was there was this gentleman. He's older. So it was a girl. I'll say a younger lady who did her hair color. And so I'm confronting her, and she's trying to say that my mom, it was a miscommunication. And then I said, I was the Karen, said, let me get your manager. And so, which is all pointless. I know it's already done.
Yeah.
What can you do about it?
Yeah.
But I'm so mad. And so I said, so I'm talking to her. She said, well, we're not going to charge the color. Well, the hell you're not.
Yeah.
What, do you want me to say thank you? And then this older gentleman had, someone asked, oh my God, I can't speak, asked him if he would cut her hair. And so he's like, what's going on? So they tell him. And so he is so sweet. And he's like just trying to calm my mom down. She showed him the picture of her hair. He cut it. I'm sitting on another chair and I'm just watching. And he did a great job. But when he's cutting her hair, he is older and his hand is shaking like this, cutting her hair. And when I say it's not just a trim, she's cutting it really short in the back, and his hand's going like this. And I'm like, oh my God.
Bad haircut.
I'm like, oh my God. And I'm just like, and then it turned out great.
Oh, good.
It did.
I was like, you had me on the edge here. I'm like, it's not just the color that's the problem. It's the haircut too.
I know. I was so scared because I'm like, okay, if I saw someone shaking you with my hair, I'm getting up. No, thank you. And so I felt so bad for her. And and we're supposed to be leaving and going out of town. And so, but anyways, so then the gentleman said, hey, if you want to come back tomorrow at 9:30, I will work on your hair. I'll put some blonde highlights in it and we'll try to get it back to what we can. Then my mom was like, no, I don't want to do processing after processing. So I called our hairdresser and said what the problem was. And he was actually at the airport going out of town. And he said, yeah, I'll be back. Let's make an appointment Wednesday. So just to give her time to let that settle. But, oh yeah, she was super mad and super sad.
Breaks my heart.
And then, of course, she was mean in the car. And then I
is.
said, I'm not going to speak to you because I can't deal with this. And so then she would say something to me and I wouldn't say anything back. And she'd go, no, just answer this question. Do you know where Wingstop is? Still wouldn't answer. And then she said, just answer. And I was like, yes, Mom, I know where Wingstop is.
She's been through a terrifying experience.
I know, and I was
and
trying.
she's 80.
I was trying to be supportive, and I was fine. But then she kept being mean. And I'm like,
Hey, now you know how we feel sometimes. I'm just kidding.
okay, so
I'm joking.
now I'm not going to speak anymore.
Yes, she is. She has that on her list.
Anyways, all right, Jen, go ahead and fill us in with the rest of the dermatology and everything.
Yeah.
All right. So I have really hated my face my whole life. And I've always been afraid to go have my moles removed because I didn't want really bad scars. I figured this was the way I was made. I'd rather just be miserable than have scars and everybody spend the rest of my life asking me, why do you have scars? I finally said I can't do it anymore, and I called Kimberly and said I want to go to the plastic surgeon that is her plastic surgeon. Will you go with me? Because I'm really scared. I've always wanted to do this. She said, yeah, just call and find out when you can make an appointment. So I finally called after 40 freaking 5 years old. I've always wanted to do this. And I finally get the courage and I call, and they don't do those procedures anymore. They said to go to a dermatologist. So I checked out a bunch of dermatologists and I made an appointment, and Kimberly did go with me. And next week I am going to have them removed. And
Yes.
I think I'm going to feel so much better about Me.
She's excited.
And thank you,
nervous, but
Kimberly, for
excited.
supporting that. And I
Yes.
think that's what helped her do it.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I'd be there for
Yeah.
both of you for
I know you would.
anything.
Yes, I was so nervous, and so we went and had lunch before we went, and then we went and did that, and then we went to get the massage. It was just all in all a good day.
Well, so with but they won't, and she kept saying because they don't want to remove both at the same time.
So do one at a time?
They want to see how this one heals.
Okay.
And Jen was very hesitant. She
Okay.
kept saying, and I said, she wants both.
Yeah.
But they literally just wouldn't say yes to that.
On Wednesday they will. I'm not going through it twice.
Oh, really? Are you going to tell them that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So,
Well, even if it has, the thing is, even if it's scarred, you can put makeup on it.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Makeup.
Yeah.
I can cover that kind
Yeah.
of stuff up.
You didn't tell me you were going to say that to them on
I've been
Wednesday.
thinking about it.
Yeah.
Well, right before we left, the lady said, talk to her before the appointment. When we were walking out the door, she was like, okay, well, you can talk to Erin about it.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, so she's got an appointment at 3, and I've got the appointment at 4. For
And
mine.
the really cute lady in the middle was like, I don't know that we want to hang out with her for an hour on Wednesday. She's trouble.
She's like, oh my God, I don't think we can hang out with her for an hour while you're back there. I said, it'll be fun.
Oh my God.
Everybody loves
Maybe I need to
Kimberly.
take off on
You
Wednesday.
want to go with us? It'll be fun.
Do you have anything that needs to be looked up?
No. Yeah, actually I do, but
Oh, well, we
Yeah.
need to make that
I
appointment.
have another dermatologist though.
Yes, you do.
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I don't know if I told y'all. So y'all know at the beginning of March I quit my job. So I haven't had insurance. And let me tell you, as we've all heard about my surgeries and sicknesses. So it's been a scary few months to not have insurance. But my husband just turned 60, and he was in the military in the reserves 20 years. And so on your 60th, you can sign up for the military insurance, TRICARE. So Alyssa and he made an appointment, and it was for the couple days ago. And so Alyssa and I and Larry went to the base, and so they we gave them our blood and everything, and they gave us our military ID cards, and so, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And then we went home, and then my husband calls to the insurance place. Now, normally you have to have a waiting period. They didn't. So my husband came in the room and said, okay, it's done. And I'm like, well, okay, what do you mean? And I said, you've applied? And then he said, no, we have insurance. And I said, like today? And he said, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's exciting.
Do you mean I can go to the dermatologist
Yeah.
and not have to pay the full price? And I can go to the store and get my medicines? Yes. So I said, I'm going to try this. So I went to Walmart, and I'm on the phone with Jen. And so I pull up and I said, they said all I needed is just to show you this military card. And so then they looked and they're like, wait, what insurance is this? And I said, TRICARE. And they said, we don't take TRICARE. Now I'm like, what? Do you mean now I'm going to have issues with people finding
some
TRICARE?
places because
Whew. And so then they said, you know what, go to Walgreens or CVS. But Walgreens has always been my home of my pharmacy. But when I lost my insurance, I went to Walmart because it's cheaper.
yeah.
Now, went
You
to
can get
Walgreens.
yeah.
They accept it.
Awesome.
Now I said, okay, I know I just switched like not even 2 months ago, but can you please call and switch everything back to Walgreens? And so today they sent me text messages that said, hey, it's ready. And the little says $2, $1. And I'm like, yes.
That's nice.
Yes, I'm so
is
excited.
fantastic.
Now let me call all my doctors.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm very excited because I was really scared because you never know with me what's going to happen.
No, you don't.
You need insurance. Everybody needs insurance,
Oh.
but you need it a lot more than I do.
That's a whole topic for a whole different episode.
God.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about, like we said, the faults of our men, and we're going to talk about the faults of us. So we are going to start with you.
No, we're starting with her.
No.
Yeah.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay. Jen.
Because
Get
Jen's
it.
got it all down.
All right, Jen, give it to us. Tell us what's going on in your life, in your relationship.
So we all three have amazing men. I mean, they really, truly are good men. They're good. They're patient. They put up with us. But, hey, we put up with them too. So,
Very true.
before we start talking about that, I thought it would be good to go ahead and say some of my faults. And that way I won't feel so bad about bringing up his.
So do you want to cover each of our faults and then our
can
men
do
faults, or
that.
you want to do yours and your man?
No, because we're going to jump off each other.
yeah.
for
Okay,
the
well,
faults.
start then.
I'll start then.
Okay.
So, I'm like a cat. I only need attention when I want it. But then when I do want the attention, I need it. And give me the attention now. And no, that's not enough. Give me all the attention now. I need the attention right now. And that's kind of hard to live with. Just a little bit. Not a lot. And so I know that I am also directionally challenged and dimensionally challenged, which means I get lost everywhere I go, and there is not a single curtain in this house that's not too short or too narrow. Even with the measuring tape, I cannot seem to figure out dimensions for anything.
I share that love.
Oh my gosh, like a million times I've ordered something from Amazon. I expect it to be this big and it's this big, or I expect it to be this big and it's this
Okay,
big.
actually, I do that too.
I
Now,
do it
that
all the
part.
time.
Now, the hanging of stuff, I'm fine with, but that
No,
part,
all
I
the
can't.
time.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, all the time. So dimensionally challenged and directionally challenged. Good times. Let's see. Don't count on me to be a good influence. If I call Kimberly and say, "You ready to go to yoga?" and she goes, "I feel like sleeping today," I'm gonna be like, "All right, go to sleep." I'm just gonna go put on my comfy shorts, get out of these yoga pants, and I'm gonna chill. Sleep well. Maybe we'll try again next week. If you don't want to, that's fine. Let me know. And I will be a positive influence, but I'm not
Yes.
going to help you make the right choices.
No, I'm
No.
the one who makes the bad choices and convinces you
Yes.
to do it.
Yes.
Let's see. I quit everything, every single thing. I start all these hobbies and buy all the stuff that I need for them, and then I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like doing that anymore. Like,
You
I don't know.
sometimes pick it back up though,
I do the painting. I do, but
and
I
the
do have
writing.
What
8
about the writing?
Yeah, I have 8 paintings that I've started and haven't finished, and 2 books that I've started and haven't finished.
But you still started.
I have boxes of crafting stuff that I want to do one day, and so I get the stuff to do it, and then I never do it. It's just
I've
looks
done
so
that.
cool on Pinterest. I want to do that. I'm not going to do that. I don't know why I do that.
You know, when you say that, I am really terrible at. I am always gung ho when I hear things.
me
Okay,
too.
like last week's podcast about me getting that the red light therapy, and so now I'm so excited because of which you've seen me on the podcast. Be so excited about being an extra on Landman.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah. How's that
And-
processing going? It's not going very fast.
Well, okay, so I've made 2 scheduled appointments to do, and I think it's a face like visual. So I canceled twice because I wasn't able to be ready in time because of other things going on. So I was like, okay, you know what? I can do this. So I set an appointment for 2. Do you know I worked forever to do my makeup, my hair, and just look so presentable? No, it wasn't a video one. We could see her and she's talking, and she's telling us all about their company and all about what you need to do to be an extra, an actor, commercial, TV, film, all this. And I'm like,
Yeah, it's an agency.
I'm like, wait, I just want to go walk on Landman and just be someone standing in the corner. What? Yeah. Yes. And so then they're like, yes, you got to pay this one-time fee of $99. And I'm just like, wait, what? So now I'm like, yeah, okay. So I'm like, yes, let's do this. And so then I sign up, and then they're like, okay, we need you to send measurements, headshots, but it doesn't have to be professional. You just take the picture. Don't do selfies. Have someone else take your pictures. If you're on, on YouTube or doing stuff on Facebook, send those URLs, and so we can look at those. And then I said, then you have a whole list, like pages and pages of casting calls. And so what they do is, let's say you're filming something and you say, hey, I need a Caucasian lady between the ages of 40 and 50, and they need to be able to be flexible. Because you always make fun of me for being flexible. And so because you put all of this in a profile, everything that you think you can do, you put in this profile, and so that then it tags it and then sends everyone's pictures and profiles to these casting directors, and then they say yes or no. And so I'm like, okay, I got this. So I'm so excited. And then I'm like, and then I was filling out the stuff in my car, and I'm like, and then it asked for pictures and the measurements, and I'm like, okay, I don't have that. Okay, so I guess I need to get that done. And then I'm like, oh, this is so much work.
Yeah, you just wanted to be on set and in the corner.
I just wanted to be in the corner.
So they're trying to pitch in a commercial.
Yeah, they're wanting to put it in a commercial or whatever. And so I'm just like, well, you just spent that money. Now, Kim, go and do it, because I am the worst to pay for something and not do
the personal training.
Yeah, I spent thousands on personal training and didn't go, and lost all that money. So as she was saying that I'm telling you, it is so hard. And so I have to tell myself, finish what you started. Finish what you started. So
I just don't start anything.
I think I'm going to start doing that.
That sounds better.
What else do you have over there? Is that it?
The only other one I wrote down was I talk to myself constantly. Like, I just walk around the house muttering to myself. And sometimes I talk back, but it would be rude not to. So I'm slightly... I come across as a crazy person sometimes.
But who doesn't talk to themselves?
Right.
I mean, who does not?
I talk to it's either I talk to myself or the cats, or go bother him while he's working. So it's just... I get bored.
I talk to myself all the time.
It helps me focus, because I will start to do one thing and then do 18 different things and then start running back. So for me to just do one thing, I have to keep reminding myself this is what I'm doing, and think about it and focus and focus and focus. And then I'll be like, blah, 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 blah.
What, you laugh at yourself?
Yeah, I'm hilarious.
Myself too.
Oh, you're funny. So yeah, I've got faults. We all
you
have
talk to
faults.
yourself, Laura?
Not really.
No way.
I really don't, because at work I'm in a cubicle.
Oh no, I did it at work. My clients used to make fun of me all the time for my little conversations with myself.
Oh my God, I had conversations to myself while I'm in front of my managers, and they're like, "Are you talking to me?" I said, "No, I'm talking to myself."
I don't think I really. Maybe it's because I talk so much. I talk so much all the time that I guess I am talking to myself, because a lot of times when I'm talking, no one's listening. Like the husband. Or the kid.
Yes, okay. See?
Okay.
There you go.
Anyway.
Oh, all right. Well, I understand all of that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm with you all the time. And so, but it's okay because your faults are exactly fine. And I love you for who you are.
That's right.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
All right, Lori, what's your faults?
Well, first one is I'm very sensitive. I mean, very sensitive.
Well, I mean, I've always known you to have your feelings on your shoulder.
Isn't it your sleeve?
I think maybe the term might be you wear your heart on your sleeve. That's what I forgot to add to my list. I make up words, but that was really good. In your case.
Okay, heart on your sleeve.
Yeah. But I guess I could wear my feelings on my sleeve.
You do.
Maybe not your shoulder or my shoulder.
I mean, it sounds like they're on your shoulder.
Yeah, it sounds like they are.
She does, y'all.
Yeah. So I do make up words too. So I did forgot to add that to my list. So sometimes my old coworkers used to call them Loriisms,
Oh, I love
or
that.
as they were wrong,
What about cognitive?
like that one. Let's not be reminded. If you watched a few episodes ago, I said a word wrong, like not once, not twice,
I think
not 3 times, maybe 5.
And then when we ended, I looked at her and I said, "Are you trying to say cognitive?"
And I said, "Did I say it wrong?" And they said, "Yeah, like several times." And I said, "Well, why didn't you tell me 20 years ago when I was mispronouncing it? Because I've been doing that the whole time."
Do you know how hard it is to sit on videoing and doing a podcast and someone's saying this and you want to say,
Yes.
"What?
Because
What
I
are
have
you
experienced that
talking
too.
about?" And then but you can't interrupt her. And so then at the end,
Yeah.
what were you saying?
So we've already talked about that I talk a lot because I just told y'all I don't really talk to myself because I'm probably talking all the time. I also have a habit of telling a story and giving you all the details instead of going just straight to the point because I feel like you need to know. If you don't know all the details, then you're not going to get the full gist of the story. And then I do overthink a lot. I mean, a lot. And I don't know. Well, they said this wasn't a flaw, but I wrote down that I do not go to bed mad. But that's probably when I'm going to cover that when I talk about the husband's faults.
Wait, you don't go to bed mad?
I don't go to bed mad with anyone, not just my spouse, but like my friends, or I was like that as a kid with my parents, and that's probably where it started. And then lastly, I interrupt, which isn't that noticeable on this podcast because we all do that.
We all do that.
But I do in real life. A lot. Which I don't mean to. It's just I think it's my brain. It's maybe the menopause.
It
Oh
could
my
be
God.
the menopause.
No, I've always done that because Kim knows that. I lived with her
I
when I
think
was young. It's my brain's working in overdrive.
yeah, I can tell you. I already
Yeah.
know what it is,
Yeah.
and my husband has it too. That you are thinking about what you're going to say next.
That's exactly what it is.
Before listening to everything, because you're trying to think about what you're going to say next. My husband does it all the time,
However-
and you've done it for 30 years.
You know what I'm going to
You
say.
do listen. I knew
Yeah.
you listened because I called her out.
She
one
did
time
call me
and
out
said,
on
"Have
it.
you heard a thing that I have said?" And she repeated back everything I said, and I'm like, "Wow, you really do
I
listen."
do. Because I am listening, but she's right. I'm also thinking
Mhm.
sometimes it comes out before my brain processes it, and I think I'm afraid I'm going to forget what
Yeah,
my
I
brain's
do
going to
that
process.
too.
So I think it's sometimes why.
That's our brain fog.
Yeah.
So much
Maybe that's
brain
what it
fog.
is. It's gotten worse as I've gotten older. It's
I'm
certainly
telling
true.
you.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So
horrible.
that's kind of what I had on my list. So
All right, let's hear your fault, Kimberly.
yeah, let's
I
hear-
have none. I'm perfect.
okay. Well, you already said you started stuff and don't ever complete them. So
I think that I get impatient. I think it's really sad. I think it's more my husband than other people. I don't know why, but I do get impatient. Okay, these two tell me I'm very bossy.
yes, she is.
Okay, but I was a boss. So-
Yeah, but before you were a boss, you were bossy to me.
okay, listen, just do what I say.
Yeah, we do.
No, bossy at all.
No.
So I do have anger issues. I know a lot of people will be like, wait, what? You're always smiling. You're always happy. I think that what it is that if you say something to me that just pisses me off, I literally will just snap and go into this anger mode because I am angry, and not a lot of people see me angry. It's not like I'm angry every day, but I can snap into it, and I will be cold and I will be mean. But luckily, that's very rare that I will do that.
Right.
And as Lori, I overthink everything. When I was working with my boss, Lori, I would always call her, I know I'm overthinking this, but, and I'd give her whatever example. She goes, yes, you are. You're overthinking. And then you're talking about going into stories and going, block deal. My boss, Lori, would always say, Kim, if I'd call her and she has a short amount of time, she'd go, all right, skip the rabbit trail. I need you just to go to the point.
Like you do that with me. So I'm not the only one that does it.
No,
that makes me feel better.
Well, because I'm at work, I'm like, I gotta give you the background because of what the question's going to be. I gotta give you the background.
Yes, you do have to give the background.
And so, and then Lori and I would be on the phone, my boss, Lori, and then I'd say, and then when she had the time, she'd listen, and then I go, I know. I just went down the rabbit hole. And she's like, yes. And I'm just like, okay, but I have to tell you the whole thing to get you to know why I made this decision. So I loved it that she really knew who I was. And then she would let me do it, or she'd say, get to the point. I'm very territorial.
Oh, like a Boston Terrier.
Yeah.
Yipping at your heels.
No. You like basically
With the exception of me and Jen, really. I mean, like throughout our friendships, we talked about this, I think, in the first podcast. I wasn't ever allowed to have other best friends. No, I never called them best friends anyway. It was friends, but I still wasn't allowed to have very many.
Oh, yeah.
And then Jen came around and she was the same way. But yet, it's okay if we are, but
well, okay, so just a little story, just a half a second one, is that I had said something to Jen, and then Jen had told Lord, we have a group chat.
Yes,
we do. I said, excuse me, are y'all having a side chat without me?
Great example.
What? You are not allowed to have a side chat without me. I need to hear everything.
They have side chats all the time without me, and you don't see me.
Okay, well, I live right down the road, and so
that can't be your excuse all the time. You just got on to me about having a side chat.
I literally sidebar y'all all the time in the chat. Be like, sidebar, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Go back in.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah.
I need you to hand me your phone so I can read it all.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna delete a few things that I said about Kimberly.
Okay. No,
oh my
joking.
gosh.
Nothing you haven't already heard.
Other than that, so I always spoiled while I was working, I always spoiled myself and just, I'd always do whatever I wanted to do. And so now that I'm not working, I have no income coming in. I'm just like, oh, I want to do this. I want to do this.
You got to figure out how to not do that.
I have to not do that because, I can't keep going to my husband. I want a massage, baby. I need a manicure, pedicure. I need this. And so, that doesn't work. And so I'm like, oh my God. I told him that I wanted to wait tables on the side just to make money that I could spend. And he does not want me to. He said, just do something else or whatever. And I'm just like, no, I'm good at it. I owned a restaurant with my brother. I have waited tables when I was younger, when I took 2 years off. I'm good at it. I'm good with people. But I guess that when the shift ends, I'm not good about going home. So he doesn't want me to do that. But that was a while back.
That was a while back.
It was a while back. And I don't don't care. I'm gonna go home.
You're in a different phase in
I'm a
life.
different phase
Yeah.
in life.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm gonna have to do something on the side. I don't know. Maybe become a famous actress.
There you go.
Maybe get
Cannot
that
wait to
call.
see your commercial.
Yeah, I can't wait to see your commercial. And you're not only going to just be an extra, you're going to be having an official
I'll have an
role.
official role.
You might read one line
Yes.
instead of just being in the background.
Today is the day, and I am worth it.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Oh my God! All right,
So who's starting with their man
Jen,
first?
because you started first.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, no, it turns out that it was a lot easier to write down bad things about myself.
These aren't bad things.
Well, I mean, just my faults.
Okay.
You know,
No, none of this is bad.
None of
These
this
are
is
our
bad.
fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was trying to do his, I sat there for 30 minutes and I'm like, okay, well, the things that used to bug me, they don't bug me anymore because I've gotten older. He's 8 years older than me. So, you know, I wanted to go out and hang out and go places and he didn't. Well, now I'm at the point where I don't want to go either. So that's not a problem. So I did write down, and I guess I should just read it as I wrote it.
Let's
It's kind of funny. He is so freaking patient with me. He helps me calm down when I need it. But he didn't quite understand that even if I'm calm, it's not gone. It's still there. So it's better. And he understands that people have anxiety, but he doesn't understand anxiety.
Yeah.
So that's not really a fault, but that's the one thing that I was able to write down. But I love that I was like so freaking patient with me.
He is.
He is extremely patient.
But because he is, and it's on your list.
Oh, you think that's part of the other one?
I do.
So I'll get to that last then because I had already written down the first one and I finally went and got him and said, I need your help.
I need to write something about
Can you
you.
just tell me your fault?
I can't think of any and I know you have them. Help me out here. And so I had also written down he rarely wants to go anywhere. And now that I'm okay with that, but he still needs to go hang out with his friends because I have my weekly bestie time and it really does make for a better life. And so I think that would be good for him. So he said he never wants to go anywhere. I'm like, oh, I already wrote that down. And then he said, I'm a grouchy old man. I'm like, oh, hey, that's funny. I already wrote that down. But I also said, not really. We just say that all the time. It's like our little running joke. He's
Actually,
the grouchy
he
old
is,
man. So then he's like, all right, well, this next one, he said, he is very aloof. I struggled with that one. Aloof.
That's a big word.
Very aloof. It's not, though.
It is for me. I didn't even know what it meant. She had to explain it to me. I said, what does that mean?
Not an emotional person. You know, it takes a lot for him to care about stuff. And
I know that.
I am an emotional person. So I was like, well, I'm not entirely sure that's a fault because I knew that about you going in. And we yin and yang because you are not emotional and I am, that if we were both emotional, it wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that once y'all start talking, I'll be like, you know that too.
Yeah.
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 Well, I can tell you that our son is exactly the same
He
way.
is.
Yeah.
And it drives me absolutely crazy. If you, I don't know if we've said it in the past, but so her man is my ex-husband. But this has been, let's see, our son is 23, and
He was like 3, I think.
I think it was 3 when and then
So 20 years ago.
Yeah, because we had decided we're best friends.
Yeah.
You know, we're just best friends, and so that's what we remained. We've always been best friends, and we can do anything together. But I'm going to tell you, this whole mannerism that he has, our son had. I just want to wring my son's neck. Stop. Do you not have any of me in you? Come on, dude.
He does. He does have a lot of you.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
No, he just loves sitting in his room playing video games.
Well, mine does.
I
that too.
rarely see him, and he goes to work. So it's like
Well, that just is part of the. I mean,
he'll come
generation.
downstairs, and I'm like, "Hi, baby, love you."
That's
And then he'll oh, love you too. And then periodically, on mornings he'll come in my room. Hi, Mom. I'm like, oh, baby, oh my God, it's so good to see you. You live upstairs, and I haven't seen you in days.
He is way more affectionate though. Like Christopher is with me. I mean, he's very affectionate too, but Joey's not affectionate. I'm not affectionate.
Yeah, no. My son's name is Hayden, but his name for me in my phone and what I've always said is my son. Because I would always say my son. So his actual name is my son. And so I will always say, my son, come here. My son, I need you. And so... Sweet. Yes, but he'll hug me. He'll kiss me. I know he truly, deeply loves me.
Yeah, he's a sweet, sweet boy.
He is. I always talk about my daughter only because of the things that she does. And my son sits in his room and plays video games. So it's not
I think it's every teenager.
It's not a young adult.
No, he's young adult. I'm sorry, young adult.
Okay, so I will say this.
Joey was playing video games when we were first dating.
But I will say this, that when, oh my God, I think it was in his earlier teenage years, he said, Mom, I'm just going to live with you forever. No, you're not. And he said, yeah, I'm going to be like 40 living with you. And I'm like, no, you're not. And so I finally set this rule, and like, I'm dead serious. This isn't a joke. I said, okay, when your sister graduates, you will be 24. And I said, when she goes off to whatever she's going to do, because Alyssa's like the person who's like, I'm 18, I'm gone.
I'm out.
Yep.
I'm out.
Yeah.
And I said, you have to move out. And I said, you have to. And then I said, you got to have your life. And so he's like, nope.
I bet he's still living there when she moves out. I got bets.
I'm telling you, I don't know what to do, but I will find a way to get him out of my house. And I know it's terrible to say, but I need him to go live his life.
Yeah, he will. He'll fly. Okay, so you want me to go next, or you want to go next?
Okay. I'll go next and get it over with.
Mine's kind of similar to hers, anyway. So.
Yeah.
Mine's kind of hard, a little bit. My husband is a very sensitive person. You know what? I was thinking about this. I was with my ex for 12 years, and it's so weird, guys. And I know y'all know this. But I was a very needy person. Like, I needed the attention. I needed the affection. I needed everything. Tell me I'm great. Tell me I'm this and blah, blah, blah. And I know we always say we're going to get into another podcast, and we will, of my miserable 12 years. Okay, it wasn't miserable the whole 12 years, but a lot. So what I would say is, so what my ex would say is, I gave all my goodness at work so that I'm so free and happy and just smiling at work. And when I come home, I'm, angry or, just angry. I think is the only thing I say, just because or I'll say stressful. And I'm just like, no, I'm over here trying to beg you to give me attention. Please give me attention. I need attention. And so when I met my husband, he helped me get through all of that. Oh my God, he's the best man ever. Yeah. And he did. He helped me survive what I was going through. And so I don't know why, but I turned completely opposite. I think that because of what I did in those 12 years, that I couldn't. That like even though this man is giving me everything, all the stuff I ever wanted from my ex, I never got. This man is giving it to me. Guess what I'm giving? Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being me. I'm doing all of that, but I'm not affectionate. I'm like, I love to have fun, all this stuff. And I think for a while I was affectionate, and then it just stopped. And I don't know why. And I kept saying, oh my gosh, I gave everything I have to my ex, and I don't have it now. So I really wish I could fix that. And well, hell, I've been with him since 2014, and we've been married. Oh, our anniversary's tomorrow. Our anniversary's coming up, and it will be 6 years. So I'm very excited about that. We're going to go to dinner. But I feel bad. I truly feel bad because he gives me anything I want. He is loving, he's caring, he always gives me attention. He wants attention.
He grounds you too.
He does ground me. So I will tell you, yes, I know that I wish that everything I gave my ex, I could give to Larry. I don't know why I can't, because I am in love with my husband.
I think it's also what we just talked about last week about, your menopause and your age. I think a lot of that could be with that. It's not necessarily that you're just like some cold-hearted person anymore.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is just, I do think it does take a lot out of you when you're with someone you give everything to.
When you're broken.
You're broken. And then you, not only were you broken, but you went through cancer and all of that. I mean, there's a lot to go along with that.
You're not the same person.
You're not the same person.
Listen, I'm definitely not the same
You know what I like to say though too? Relationships take a lot of work. It's not just like a great relationship. You have to work at it.
Everyone has to work at it. So that being said, so some of my faults that I have with my husband is he loves to be annoying. And I'm saying that because he does it on purpose.
Yeah,
I mean, he does it to Jen.
Yeah.
And so
he does it to me.
Yeah. So he loves to be annoying. He thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. You want to see me get mad?
I have that on my list too, by the way. So
mine. Okay.
Yeah, I do.
I'm like, okay, that makes no sense. I don't know why you want to piss me off.
They think it's funny.
They think it's funny. And I'm just like, I want to stab you.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Another thing, which I already told y'all he was very sensitive, is age. So he is 10 years older than me. Okay. Well, when I met you, I already knew you were 10 years older than me. So if I imagine this future and I go and marry you, you're still 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So now he's just constantly talking about his age.
Yes, he is.
I'm almost 50. He's 60. Yeah. And then he's like, oh my God, you're not going to want this old man.
I'm a senior.
I'm a senior. And then, oh my gosh, I got all these wrinkles and, blah, blah. I'm just like, babe, please stop. Please stop. I mean, if I didn't want to get into this, I wouldn't have. But I love, love, love you. I don't care that, you're 60. I don't care that you'll be 65, and I truly don't care that you will be 70. Yeah. I don't. And he'll say, who's going to be feeding who? Jell-O.
It's still going to be him feeding you Jell-O.
It's going to be me.
Yeah.
He is so fit.
Yeah.
He does not look 60. Yeah. But, it is what it is. If I fall in love with you, I don't care how old you are.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to tell you, which y'all both know, he tells the same stories over and over. And when I say over, I'm talking about 12 years of over. So for a while, I'm like, yeah, you already told me that. You already told me that. And then now I'm trying to become nicer and just let him tell the story. And then my daughter will come in and, and he'll tell her the same story of something else. And she'll like, I know. I know. And so I'm like, okay, let's just let him tell the story. But okay, I'm not going to lie. Once I've heard it 5 million times, okay, I don't need to hear it again. And he gets mad because I'm like, babe, you've already told me this story 1.3 million times. I know the story. But I try really hard just to let him just say it. And so one of my things that we have is that I'll always say, he only has certain topics. And so he wants to talk about taxes. Wait, 401k.
Mm-hmm.
What's the others? Pool. Yep. Yard. But the biggest is when I'm like this is the taxes and 401k.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I did tell y'all in a previous podcast, and I'm glad I know it because
worked out.
Yeah, for Merrill Lynch for me to do my 401k, but oh my God, how many times do I need to hear about taxes? Taxes. I know taxes suck, but wow. And then the only other thing really is that he tries to make me feel like I'm crazy. And what I mean is that, okay, you tell a story, right? Or you're saying something. And then I go, wait, what? And then, what'd you say? And he'll go, what? I'm
he does do that.
Oh, yeah. What? I'm like, no, what'd you just say? What? What are you talking about? And I'm like,
that's him messing with you again.
No, it's him messing with me, but my brain fog.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait. I'm not gonna lie, this actually happens a lot. And I know that's just why my brain fog's really bad. He'll say something and I get angry. And then I won't talk to him. And he'll go, why are you not talking to me? I said, because of what you said. And then he'll go, what did I say? He does this all the time. I actually have now forgotten what you said. I just know I'm mad.
You know why you're mad. You just know you're mad.
I knew I was mad because I knew what you said pissed me off. And then he'll go, what did I say? What did I say? And I'm just like, what do I say? Do I say, oh my God, I just actually forgot? And so I say, you know what you said. And then his other famous thing is that you're talking and he says something and then he will say, wait, what'd you say? And then he'll be like, wait, what are you talking about?
That makes you feel crazy.
I saw you do this. What are you talking about? No, I didn't. I know you did. The reason that pisses me off is because I already have this brain fog. Mm-hmm. I really have this memory loss that I'm actually trying to deal with.
So that complicates it.
And then him doing that to me really messes with me because I'm like, am I crazy? Did I not see that? Did I not hear that? Is it just in my head? And he doesn't understand that really messes with me. Mm-hmm. So those are the majority of the things. I know everyone experiences probably these kind of things also. And I would love to hear other people's stuff. But as far as my husband goes, I love him so deeply and I have been in love with him. He got me through the hardest time in my life and I don't want him to go anywhere. Now, he might try to divorce me because of this.
No, he won't.
But I do. I love everything about him, even his faults, even though I want to stab him in the eye. All right, Lori, tell us about you.
So I've got similar things that while you were telling yours, I was thinking about. So I guess I'll start there because so mine's a little bit different because I've been, like I told y'all in the very beginning, I'm going on 25 years being married. So we have had where we were then and where we are now are totally different seasons, let's call it, of life. So I have had periods of time where my husband's very much an introvert and I'm opposite of that spectrum. And so we have had some different periods of stages of life that we've gone through where he is more sheltered and less sheltered and so forth, but back and forth. But the one thing that I was thinking about when you were saying about that, he gives you such a hard time and he just makes you feel like you're crazy at times.
Yes.
So mine does that all the time. And he's doing it to rouse me up. He's not being mean, but I take it offensively and then I get mad and then I just don't want to talk. So I'll shut down. So at the same time though, I feel like after you told all that stuff that Larry and I are so similar.
Y'all are.
Maybe that's why you're married to him. Because you know you're with me first started life. And
I truly believe in the opposite.
literally me and Joey are completely opposite too. But I'm really a lot like Larry. I'm sensitive. The whole thing is like with my husband is he likes to joke with me and he'll say things like, well, I guess it would consider my skin, which is kind of why I said Larry. It reminds me is when he'll go, I'll say, hey, and he'll go, is this a long story? And then my kid is equally the same. So that's like the men in my household gang up on me because he'll be like, you already told me this. You already told me this. I'm like, well, because when I'm telling you and you don't respond, I think you don't hear me. Mm-hmm. Which both of them are guilty of that. So that's why I have to repeat myself because I don't think you're listening. So respond and I won't maybe repeat myself. Or maybe I might because I do that.
Wait, can I interrupt for a moment?
Sure.
But we do the same thing with you. Because when you're, so I mean.
Nah, but you tell me I'm doing it. That's not the same. It's totally not the same as how they do it. Because I've just gotten used to it now. So, it literally just happened last night. So I mean, my husband, actually it was my kid, actually said something. I was trying to tell him something, and he was like, I just get to the point. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah,
and then they had a sidebar conversation and called it something. I'm like, what does that mean? And then he's like, I just like to rile you up. My husband, I just like to rile you up and get under your skin. I'm like, yeah, and I just don't listen to it anymore. I'm just going to shut down and not say anything back. So that annoys me. So I'm with you on that. Like that just part, the same thing you were saying, like I'm trying to get my thoughts out and you're making me seem like I'm crazy and I don't know what I just said. So that's kind of how I feel about that too, because I know I'm guilty of it. But don't keep calling me out on it because I'm just not going to talk to you then. The other thing that I feel like you have to do a lot of times is parent them. At least I do. So, it's like you can't be buying that anymore. That hobby's become way too expensive. And I feel like I'm getting on to him. Don't forget you have a doctor's appointment next week. But then again, they put that all on me. He runs out of his this is my worst pet peeve. He is out of his medication, no refills. Oh. And I'm like, if that were me, me, if I'm going to run out of my medicine, I'm going to be calling that doctor's office and make sure it gets over to the Walgreens because Walgreens freaking sucks and they never get it in all right and they never call it into the description. Well, good for you because me and my husband both do. So, and I know what world we have the same doctor. So what do I do? I call the doctor's office for him. I call back and forth between Walgreens and the doctor's office to make sure the prescription got over there correctly. And then I told him after the last time I did that, I spent hours doing it.
Wait, does he not call in any refills or anything?
He does, but you can't on some of them once the refills are up.
Oh no, I get that.
But the doctor has to call in a new script.
Let's pretend that you have 2 left.
Oh no, he calls in his refills to Walgreens. But the problem is that it's a certain prescription that requires the doctor to send in a refill.
Yes.
So in that case, the Walgreens can't send it over to the doctor's office. The doctor's office has to actually send it to the pharmacy. So then you have to call. He's like, I called the doctor's office and they told me that. I'm like, okay, so I have the same doctor as you. And so when I have that situation, I call back to the doctor's office. Actually, I call Walgreens first to see if they have it. Well, they didn't call me and say they have it. I'm like, okay, well, then if they didn't call you and say they have it, then I would be calling back to the doctor's office saying, did you call in my prescription? Because I'm out. Well, they should just know. I'm like, okay, they don't. I'm like, why do you think things are going to work? They're not. So I get it all happen for him. And then I'm like, you owe me big time for that. And I don't mean just going to pick up my prescription next week. I mean like owe me for that. And that happens on a regular basis. So another thing that I will talk about is that to be I like that we have, so sometimes I say this all the time, men and women have totally different communication skills. We just do. It doesn't mean that's a fault. It's just the way it is. Sometimes we'll be in a discussion about, I mean, not in a bad discussion, just about any topic. And if it doesn't match up with what he's thinking in his brain and compared to mine, sometimes he'll get mad and frustrated. I won't say mad, but frustrated. And then he'll just completely like, oh, you don't get it. I'm like, I do get it. I just don't agree with what you're saying, and then it becomes like, okay, I'm done with this conversation attitude. And that's not how I roll.
I do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not like, I don't feel like you do it like, at least like men do.
No, I do it to Larry.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, maybe. Again, Larry and I very much like it. But I mean, but at the same time, we have always been able to get on the same page of stuff. And like, well, I'm a little bit different geared. Like, I don't like to go to bed mad. I don't like to be upset. I don't like for other people to be upset. And even if it's not my fault and I didn't do anything, I will still try to make up. Where he will just not talk to me for days if I didn't let him. But I'm not that way. I sometimes have to pull him out. But at the same time, it's like, so he's kind of the same as Jen was talking about. He doesn't really go and do stuff with his friends but he's always allowed me to be with my friends. But he's just one of those kind of like home. I wouldn't say he's a homebody, but he is. I mean, he likes to work on his own stuff, and he does have friends, but he doesn't really like even ask his friends to come over and help him work on something. I mean, he'd rather do it alone. And mostly, I think that's because he's a perfectionist and he wants to do it himself. And he don't want to ask for help.
Well, he does such a good job. I understand
Well,
that.
And Larry's a lot like that too.
Oh.
Like he likes to build and work on stuff and he's proud of it. But I'm telling y'all what I witnessed, and like I said, when I witnessed at my house, and the man growing up with their work stuff, I think that they needed to keep that in. So
Why can't the men just have friends and go hang out with them like we hang out with each other? Because then they would understand what we want to do.
I don't know if y'all get this from yours, but this is what I sometimes will get back. Like, there's not very many times that we're in, like the three of us aren't generally in a tiff with each other. Not really a tiff isn't even way an argument. It's been with other friends in my life, let's say, but he'll bring up, like, let's just say there's drama. It's typically not because of us. It's usually multiple things in the drama, but let's just say there's a drama with somebody. And he'll say, this is why I don't have friends. Because he didn't want to deal with drama. That's why he doesn't tend to do stuff. So he just didn't do well in that environment, and I think that's just always the way he's been. Again, he's an introvert. He wasn't always like that, but he has been like. But at the same time, he can go out and have a lot of fun and have a good. I think it's just stages of life because, like now, we're both really when we can find something we can love together, which we are in that. Our kid is 18 now, so it's not like he's a little kid anymore. So we're doing stuff together more, and now he's found a passion for Formula One with me, which has become a hard hobby for him, which is. He's a go hard on his hobbies, but it's nice because now we're talking about it continuously. And so, as I told y'all, my friends are not really this one's trying to try to have a conversation with me about it. But my husband's on the same page with me right now about it, which is awesome because my 18-year-old is all about his life and he doesn't really want to talk about it with me. So now my husband and I can like just banter back and forth about what's going on, what's this drama and what this team's doing. And he's following on even social media now. And it's like awesome to have that. And so I think like a lot of times and Jen mentioned this about hers being able to recognize when she's worked up about something, and he does think that he's calmed her down and got her to a better place. So mine's kind of the same way with that. Like I can just be standing in the room and he'll just be like, what's going on? Your wheels are turning. Like he can see it on my face. So, and I appreciate that because that means he does really care. So anyway, so I won't call those flaws, but that's basically where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so listen, we're just saying this just to talk about our things that we go through. And then, listen, every married person has issues.
Yeah.
It's okay. Doesn't mean you don't love them.
Yeah.
You love them, but you're not going to agree with everything on them. Come on. I mean, that's not going to ever happen. So it's fun. And so just because we said this doesn't mean we don't love you.
That's right. We do.
Love you so much.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We really would love for you to comment, like, subscribe. I don't know. I keep saying this all the time. Subscribe. subscribe, please. But you know, it doesn't cost any money. Just go hit a button.
And no one's gonna know you did either.
No, because it's like a private setting, and you know, we don't even know who's really subscribing. But thank you so much for listening to us. We really appreciate it, and we hope that our stories are funny and being able to tell. And
Hopefully you were like, my guy does the same thing.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I think they all do.
I know that I missed my story of the
You
week.
did miss your story of the
So
week.
you'll
I
have
did.
to take a bigger one next week.
Next week I'll tell 2 stories.
Okay.
Because I actually had one in my head, but we just got rambling
started.
on and got started. But yeah, next week I'll tell 2 stories.
Yes.
All
Thank you
right.
for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, and every day is a new beginning.
Every day's a new beginning.
Every
Bye.
day is a new beginning. Bye.
Bye.